Hi class, my name is Alejandro Cervantes and today we will be discussing Alzheimer's disease. Some of the main effects we will be going over on this PowerPoint are going to be what Alzheimer's disease is, some of the serious effects the Alzheimer's disease brings, and how the Alzheimer's disease affect the economy in the US and the world. Hi, today I'm going to be talking to you guys about some serious effects of Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is a degenerating brain disorder that kills your brain cells and just deteriorates them to the point that you won't be able to remember your daily tasks. Your memory basically just falls off, and your thinking and reasoning as well. There are a lot of different effects to this that we're going to be discussing today. I'm going to be talking about three main topics. So we're going to be on memory, how what it does to your thinking and reasoning, and how it affects your changes in personality and behavior. And I'm also going to be talking to you guys about some facts that I have found on this disease. So basically, your memory when you have Alzheimer's disease, you start losing it very quickly after the age of 60. If you have been diagnosed by the age of 60, most people start feeling like light symptoms, just starting off with forgetting recent events or forgetting conversations that they had like recently, stuff like that. Many after age starts progressing, they start repeating statements over and over and asking questions that they have already asked before. They get lost in familiar places, don't remember family members' names, or just everyday objects that you would normally be normal and be able to remember that. So, what this disease does to your thinking and reasoning is it stops you from being able to multitask a lot of different items. Different events. So if you can't multitask, you can't really do a lot of different things because in our daily lives, we as humans, as normal people, we have that skill to be able to do at least two things at a time. And in most cases, a lot of people have to do that. So not being able to do that affects a lot of people a lot of different ways. So a lot of people have to stop being able to be the ones to pay their bills on time. Some people forget dates. Some people forget different little things that it could affect you in a bad way. Like if you have to pay your bills, you have to pay them on time. So a lot of these people with Alzheimer's disease have to have a caregiver or have someone or a family member take care of them just to get through these times, um, because they need to be able to continue their life. So multitasking is very difficult for them and to manage your finances as well. So in your personality and behavior, basically the Alzheimer's disease, what it causes is it causes you to change your mood at all times. It makes you mad. It makes you sad. Some people get depressed off this disease. Many people experience this a lot as well. One of the dangers also of this effect of this disease is many people since they had some of them get to a point that the disease has degenerated so many of the brain, that a lot of them wander off, and if they're not taken care of, they can get hurt or fall down or walk into somewhere like traffic that could be dangerous for them and hurt them in the end. So again, this is a very serious disease that many people had to battle with to this day. And to this day, it is one of the top 10 leading causes of death in the United States, and it's the sixth leading death among U.S. adults. Till this day in 2020, the number of Americans living with Alzheimer's is growing and growing fast. A lot of people have been getting it more. and unfortunately, with COVID and mixed with that, it could change. It could make a lot of people's lives more and more difficult. But to this day, more than 5 million Americans of all ages have Alzheimer's, and an estimated of 5.8 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease in 2020. So that is a big number. And that number, it is not going down. It is moving up at all times. And so hopefully this this shows you guys just in depth of what people with Alzheimer's disease have to live with and the effects they have to live with. Thank you. Hi class, so I'm talking to you guys about Alzheimer's disease and the effect on the economy in the US and the world. So today we're going to be talking to you guys about how Alzheimer's disease is still one of the current most expensive diseases out there. Right now, just caring for people with Alzheimer's disease will cost all payers, Medicare, Medicaid, individuals, private insurance, HMOs, which is it is $20 trillion over the span of 40 years. That is enough to pay off the national debt in the United States and still send $10,000 to every man, woman, and child in America. As of 2012, America spent an estimated amount of 200 billion in direct costs just for Alzheimer's disease, including 140 billion just to cover the Medicaid and Medicare that it brings. Average person with Medicare costs for those with Alzheimer's disease and other dementias are 3 times higher than those without these conditions. Average per senior Medicaid spending is 19 times higher now. So it is growing daily and growing more as the years go by with this disease. With Alzheimer's disease, it affects a lot of people, not just only the person with the Alzheimer's disease. Um, so it affects the caregivers. It affects also people around the world. It affects their families. It affects everyone in general around the disease. Projected in 2011, 15.2 million family members and friends provided unpaid care valued at over $210 billion. Unpaid. So that means $210 billion went out of people's pocket just because their caregivers, they were family members and they wanted to help the person with Alzheimer's disease, and they give almost their whole lives just to help them. Caring for a person with Alzheimer's disease takes longer, lasts longer, and is more personal and intrusive, and takes a heavy toll on the health of the caregivers themselves. More than 60% of Alzheimer's and dementia caregivers rate the emotional stress of caregiving as a high or very high, with 1/3 reporting symptoms of depression. This affects people emotionally. It takes so much out of them because it becomes a job. It becomes a daily job that you have to live with. So it does take out a lot, and it has made people depressed. Caregiving may also have a negative impact on health, employment, income, and family finances. Due to the physical and emotional toll of caregiving on their own health, Alzheimer's, Alzheimer's disease and dementia caregivers had 8.7 billion in additional health costs in 2011. Just helping and giving all you got to a person with Alzheimer's disease affects your health as well. So a lot of people add stress to their lives, add just more stress, and it causes more disease and it causes more sickness on yourself, and you feel depressed to a certain point that you you are you're basically making yourself worse as the Alzheimer's progresses in the other person. So a lot of caregivers have to be careful helping Alzheimer's patients, making sure you also know that you have a life as well, and it shows you how it affects a lot of families around the world. How many people give so much for to people with this disease just to try to help. This is the again the top 10, um one of the top 10 leading deaths in the United States, and it still has not found a cure for. So this disease just shows you how lucky some of us are that are young, that still have not reached that age. But hopefully, that this is something that we find the cure for. It would help the economy in the U.S. and around the world. It would help a lot because instead of using all that money for just a disease, after we were able to find a cure, we could put all that money into other resources around the world, trying to feed people, trying to help the homeless, trying to help anything else, or pay debts in the United States, helping the economy grow instead of covering just disease, and hopefully just being able to find a cure soon and end it so people and families around the world could stop suffering from this, and also everyone else that is a caregiver and people with the actual disease could stop suffering as well. Thank you.
I'm going to be talking to you guys about Alzheimer's disease and how it impacts our environment and climate. Environment does play a very important role in disease and development. Certain genes can be predisposing factors to that. Unlike in developing nations, diseases are also the main health threat in Western societies. Unhealthy lifestyles like obesity can lead to higher blood pressure and higher cholesterol levels, which in later on in life also research shows that the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease increases as much as sixfold in obese people and people with high blood pressure as well as psychological stress. Bringing that on into your brain and body causes a stress level of hormones that have been shown damaging for brain functionality. Emotional distress like depression and anxiety in young people and middle-aged adults is thought to increase the risk of developing dementia and Alzheimer's later in life. Physical activity has been the only thing to help decrease the risk of almost any disease, thus having a direct and indirect effect on the development of Alzheimer's as well. It's not a cure, but as well it is something that being healthy and exercising does help any type of body, even if it's sick or even if it's healthy. It's always something that helps. So physical activity is also a key important part of your environment and avoiding all like helping yourself with Alzheimer's. Thank you.
Hi, today I'm gonna be talking to you guys about Alzheimer's disease and how it affects us. During preclinical stages of Alzheimer's disease, people seem to be symptom free, but toxic changes are being placed in the brain, meaning when most people first receive the news of having Alzheimer's, they're just starting off and it is in the preclinical stages. So you can call that stage the mild Alzheimer's disease stage. There, most people are not feeling any symptoms. You still have some sort of your memories in place, and you haven't lost your hippocampus and your ethereal cortex, which keeps all your memories in place. Once you start progressing during the stages of Alzheimer's disease, the next stage you would reach is the moderate Alzheimer's disease stage. There you will start seeing damage already start progressing. The damage initially appears to take place in your hippocampus and your ethereal cortex. Those already they form your memories again. So that way once you already reach your moderate Alzheimer's disease stage, you're already losing your memories, your place of thought, your functions. You're losing a lot of things that you already used to have before, and now is when you start feeling more of the effects of the actual stages of Alzheimer's disease. Most people start feeling lost. They feel um, just their thinking and reasoning isn't the same anymore. It's very hard to manage finances, and it is gets to a point that it's very difficult to multitask as well. Um, so once you reach a certain point in your Alzheimer's disease progression, you start getting to your severe Alzheimer's disease. When you get to the end, that is when you start not being able to take care of yourself anymore. That is full blown. You have no memory, no function. So all you can really do is have someone help you and take care of you at all times, just so you can live a life. And also as well, you can just try to be mobile as much as you can during you have the Alzheimer's disease. On the bottom right, you can see the progression of how your brain deteriorates over time during the Alzheimer's disease stage. On the left, you have the full healthy brain. It's all full. Once you start reaching your mild Alzheimer's disease, again, forgetting basic things, your functionality, anything like that, it starts shriveling up on the sides. You can see it has a little bit of volume in the middle, but it has already shrunk a lot compared to the healthy brain. And once you get to the severe, it has mostly all pieces have shrunk, and it is just it is just sitting there basically, not being able to receive anything in.
Hello, I will be speaking about Alzheimer's disease. What are the symptoms? Usually, the symptoms are very severe. It includes disorientation, mood, and behavior changes. They're always confused about events, time, and place. There are usually unfounded suspicion about family, friends, or professionals, caregivers, because they don't know, they always lose memory, and sometimes they don't know who are they with all the time, or every it depends how severe Alzheimer's they have. It's more serious on memory loss and behavior changes, and it's very difficult for them to speak, swallow, and walk because their brain are slowly brain cells are slowly dying. And so pathological for Alzheimer's, the main thing it affects usually is the brain. So the brain typically shrinks to some degree in a healthy aging, but surprisingly does not lose neurons in large numbers. So in Alzheimer's disease, the damage is widespread. Many neurons stop functioning, lose connection with other neurons, and die. So that's what it does. It damages the neurons in the brain, and which would damage the communication, their metabolism, and the repair. So their connection in parts of the brain involve memory, affects areas in the cerebral cortex, which is responsible for language, reasoning, and social behavior. So a lot of parts of the brain are damaged. So they lose his or her ability to live and function independently. So the disease is very fatal. Now for the chart, I specifically pick this chart because for the Alzheimer's disease in clinical trial back in 2019, these are hypotheses from the scientists what Alzheimer's begin to cause. So throughout 2,173 clinical trials, they cause many things in the Alzheimer's disease.